Well, hello there.
Hello.
Been away for a little bit, had some company, did some things, took a firework to my Grand Cherokee. It's definitely been an interesting few days. But I took some time off, I needed it, it was good. The reason I wanted to make this video, I know I do update videos pretty regularly, I try to do 1 or 2 a month tops. And I try not to do it as the weekend upload whenever I can. I try to do gun stuff. And who knows what direction I go in, especially the last video for those that read the description. Y'all are the real ones. I do want to focus everybody on all the gun control stuff that's coming up because it's going to seem like it's hitting hard and fast, but there's a lot of distractions and there's a lot of other things going on, so it's important to try to knock all this stuff out and keep everybody on the same page. All right, first and foremost, the ATF nominee, Steve Dettlebach, is Chipman 2.0, but in a more professional package, and his vote is going to be pretty soon. We need to make sure that we oppose him the same way we opposed Chipman's nomination, so everybody needs to be on that page. The FPC's post was pretty cute. The 15 state or former DAs or whatever don't support him. That's cute. No one knows who they are.
I don't even know who you are.
Can you name any of them? No. They don't have any household recognition. It doesn't matter. It's just like when they sent those doctors against Joe Rogan, the 200 doctors. Most of them were nurse practitioners, which are mid-levels. I know a lot of people don't know what that is, but they're not fucking doctors. And I know there's some mid-levels that are gonna come for me in the comments if they see this video, but they're not doctors.
How dare you?
Yeah, I said it.
How dare you?
Yeah, I said it.
How dare you?
I don't even care.
And there's a lot of interesting medical positions on how good or not so good mid-levels are, but I digress. It's the same thing. No one cared when mid-levels, a couple professors and veterinarians said Joe Rogan's bad for doing something, just like people don't give a fuck that 15 former district attorneys or current district attorneys or whatever are like, this guy's bad. Cool, we know that, thank you. It's once again gonna take writing your representatives, and the same way we defeated Chipman is the same way we're going to defeat this guy. We need that grassroots political action and money to gun groups so they can bribe elected officials, essentially, because that's how our system works. Next is the ATF framer receiver, which is for August, and the pistol brace rule changes. I'm guessing it's December. Based on what Guns and Gadgets said, I don't know. Now, Bruin and the EPA should, heavy underline, stop those dead in their tracks, but we know who we're dealing with and we know they won't. It's going to be up to writing your representatives again and court cases. Being realistic, you know what they're going to do. They're going to disregard the laws. They're going to say, oh, it doesn't apply to this specifically. They'll find some sleazebag anti-gun lawyers to argue the case. It'll go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and we're going to have to do all that again. That's going to be expensive. So whatever gun organization picks it up, you got to send them money. Unless it's the NRA, then just figure out a different way to support them. But don't expect the Supreme Court decisions on Chevron deference, which was the EPA, or the tradition and history to have any direct effect. It's going to take judges applying it.
I am the law.
And you can't expect any friendly judges to be there, so it's going to have to go to the Supreme Court. Unless we can put enough pressure on the ATF and beat them in court enough before it gets to the Supreme Court, because they'll probably bitch out. They don't want Supreme Court decisions to ruin their agenda, so we'll see. Those are 2 massive ATF pushes coming up. For those of you that live behind enemy lines in blue states, you need to keep going to court. The blue states cannot help themselves. They always got to do some sort of new regulation and new thing, and they're hoping we run out of money and motivation to challenge their shit. We need to keep handing them L's in court because that's the only thing that is keeping them at bay. These court decisions have been massive, but you need to keep applying them. It's very similar to HR 218. It was New York and California who arrested the Coast Guardsman and the constable who were in compliance with HR 218 and the law, but they arrested them anyway. It had to go all the way to court. They had to pay for it, drag it out, and then it established case law. You need multiple victories in court to establish the case law, unfortunately, before these states back off. So that's just the way it is. We need to keep handing them L's. Another thing I saw that's pissing me off, and these are channels I watch too. I like Arms Scholar, and I do watch Guns and Gadgets. I'm not a fan of Legally Armed America or whatever his channel is, but he's doing it too. I don't know if Langley Outdoors Academy has done a video yet, but pretty much all these guys that are Leviathan group are on that same page trying to push that narrative. But I'm getting sick of seeing all these, oh, the NFA's in trouble, or oh, the NFA's gonna get repealed. And then when you watch the whole video at the last 2 minutes, they give you an honest assessment. At least Arms Scholar did. I don't think the other ones did. But it's that same fudge shit that I experienced when I did live in New York when I was a kid growing up until I joined the Navy at 20. I hate that shit. They just sit and postulate on, oh, this is gonna happen, and it never does. But those video titles are clickbait because and we're better than that, man. Like, you don't gotta do these fucking clickbait videos. You can just put the CRS firearms case or the update on that or something like that. You don't gotta be all this clickbait bullshit, because that's what the left does. And it makes me sick to see these people that are like, oh, we're better than the left. And then you do the same shit, right?
Stop it. Get some help.
It's just hopium. All right, I hate to, no one's gonna like this. I'm gonna get a bunch of dislikes, but it's the same thing with the New York Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin case. Who remembers all those videos where they're like, oh, this is gonna get rid of pistol permitting. This is gonna get rid of pistol permitting. And then when the decision got handed down, they mentioned that for like 3 seconds. Because I remember.
Yeah, remember Edits? Remember? Hey, remember Ghostbusters? Oh, I remember.
And I definitely don't see a district court overturning the entire NFA. That's not gonna happen. You might get his charges dropped or something like that. Or they might say, hey, these little cards specifically do not constitute parts for a firearm, and hand the ATF a well-deserved L. But it's not going to overturn the NFA. All right, stop selling hopium to these people. It's bullshit. You know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. Just stay on the more conservative assessments. We need to not get sucked into that because people get pissed when it doesn't happen. So you're going to have all these people set up for like, oh, we're going to get rid of the NFA. And then in any group, I'm not saying just gun owners, in any group, you have the lower IQ spectrum people that are going to hear this and say, oh, I can put a stock on my AR-15 pistol now because they repealed the NFA. And when you saw some of these other decisions come out, the New York Rifle and Pistol Association, there's people in videos like, hey, by the way, or Reno May is like, hey, that doesn't mean this. That's responsible. But what's not responsible is all these, oh, we're gonna repeal the NFA videos. It's clickbait. They gotta hustle. I get it. They make money off of YouTube. What the fuck ever. And it's not anything personal. It's just like, come on, dude. You know, like, y'all know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. And Arms Scholar at the end, it was like the last 2 minutes of the video, gave an honest assessment. I wish he opened with that, you know? And no shade at him. He works for FPC. But we all got to be a little bit better than that, man. Like, you can't set these people up for these expectations, because the few of us, myself included, I was geared up to just get rid of pistol permits in general because it's stupid to permit a right. But the Supreme Court did not go that route. But if you heard them talk about it on the way up to the decision, they're like, oh, they're going to get rid of pistol permitting. No, they didn't. So they gave us a great decision. It has a lot of weight. It's going to do some impressive things down the road when it's applied. But what it didn't do is give us all these things that, you know, YouTubers are speculating and all this other shit. And it's the same stuff. I used to shoot skeet up in New York, and it's the same thing. All those old ass dudes that never fought for anything when it was Second Amendment right time. are sitting there like, oh, they're gonna do this. You've heard every single version of that, you know? And then they sit there and speculate, well, this court case, you know, might get our rights back. Yeah, well, I hope so, because you didn't fucking fight for them. But then I was saying, I'm not trying to apply that to these guys, but it's that same mentality is what I'm getting at. So you really have to back up.
Mango Terry, put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord.
And not push the community to believing that this is what's going to happen, because it's not, and everyone's going to get pissed, and it's just a bad look. So give them realistic expectations and how the thing could play out, not clickbait hopium. That's the whole point of this. And I think Arms Scholar's the least in the wrong here, especially since he's a lawyer and he broke it down. But some of these other channels, man, they're just like, oh, we're gonna get rid of the NFA. Like, no, you're not. Stop it. I just know there's people out there that invest a lot more in these things and they believe everything that people tell them. And some people come to YouTube to get told what to think on certain things, or to get hope because they feel hopeless. I'll tell you, after leading people, man, it is the worst thing in the world to overpromise and underdeliver. And even if it's not your fault, even if you didn't make the promise, but you're leading those people that the promise was made to, and then they didn't deliver, and they look to you because it was you that told them. It was you that took the little notes in the meeting and you brought it to your people and said, hey, Lieutenant, or hey, Chief, said we're gonna do this, and let's get this done so we can get out of here early. And then getting out of there early never comes. And then they're like, hey, you said, Chief said, or hey, you said, or hey, LT said. Well, I'm sorry, right? And they're gonna be pissed at you. So just take that on board, man. Like, let's be realistic. We have a lot of work to do. Those Supreme Court decisions gave us a lot, and we have to work to make sure that we build up case law based on victories so that it substantiates and makes a large foundation of wins, so they can't just say, well, that was just Bruin. No, it's all of these decisions. So you have like 30 cases that this was applied, and now that's the standard. All right, enough of that, I guess. The UPS thing is extremely concerning. I don't know if y'all saw that. UPS is saying you're not allowed to ship 80% or any of that stuff. I refuse to use that other term. It's so stupid. We let the left decide what that term was gonna be, and then we used it like a bunch of fucking idiots, which is why we lose sometimes, especially in the blue states. You let them label it, and then it sinks any sort of intelligent conversation afterwards, so there's just no saving the people that believe it. And then our dumbasses repeat the same fucking terminology, so it just substantiates it. Oh, you're a gun guy and you say it. You know, stuff like that. But anyways, this is gonna set a dangerous precedent because UPS handles a lot of traffic for FFLs and everything. And they deliver my ammo, they deliver my coffee. There's a whole bunch of stuff that UPS is the only option. So it's gonna be a slippery slope. I did just watch Guns and Gadgets video about this where, yeah, there's people on the ground working in the company or the organization, but their bigwigs are making these decisions and they're fucking them over. So realistically, what's gonna have to happen is, I don't know what the legality of UPS taking property that's not dangerous and destroying it. They have a right, say if they discover a pipe bomb or an IED or something, they can call EOD and then the package gets destroyed. Or drugs or something like that. But as far as just parts, I don't know how they're gonna articulate that, and it's not gonna hold up in court. If you let UPS and any of these other companies thinking about doing the same shit get a foothold, it's gonna become a beachhead, which is just gonna progress further and further into depriving us of our rights. And then you're only gonna be able to get stuff that's locally made to you. You're not gonna be able to get, unless you live in Pennsylvania, you're not gonna be able to get Geisley parts. You're not gonna be able to get X, Y, and Z because they won't ship them. So this is a massive deal. People need to get a lawsuit together immediately and like absolutely devastate UPS. I'm sorry if you work for UPS, and I do feel for people that are victims of unintended consequences. However, the far-reaching implications of something like this is going to have cascading effects that we can't allow to happen. I want to sit here and tell you it's okay, you know, we'll be fine, all this other stuff, let's just use FedEx, until FedEx does the same shit. So we have to make an example out of UPS in court. They have to get smacked with a fine, they got to get sued out the ass, all this other stuff. So these companies that are getting screwed over, they don't just need to switch who they're shipping through, they need to take them to court, because they're, in my mind, and anybody who's a lawyer or whatever can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is unlawful deprivation of property, and it's not by a law enforcement official in the course of an investigation. So I don't think it's lawful. I don't know, because if you're like a customs agent and you have contraband come through, you can seize it, but you're a customs agent and that's your job. I don't think UPS can do that. I really don't think that's legal for them to do. They can put it in their terms and conditions, but they're not an enforcement agency, so I don't know how they would do that. And I might have just given them an idea, so I better shut up now. But that's a very dangerous situation, allow that to continue or gain any traction. So I feel for the UPS employees. I know it's a good job, it has a lot of benefits, but it's the bigwigs fucking y'all over. So I don't know what to say there. All right, some quick channel business before I get out of here. Those of you that stayed this long that care. I'm editing Geisley as a brand, but I filmed it really dumb, and it was a very lengthy video to produce because I had to swap a lot of stuff on the table, but it looks awkward because I tried to do too much. So I'm either gonna have to reshoot it, which I don't wanna do, or I'm just gonna put shooting footage over, which is gonna take 8 times longer to put together. So that's outstanding. I'm constantly moving my camera around because the duct tape is failing, and I should have retaped it before this video, but it is what it is. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna have this optic. I thought I was gonna keep it, but the prices they're going for now, I can get something I'd much rather have, so I don't know, I might just get rid of the 1-to-10 because it's just not working for me.
No! No! This is not how this was supposed to go!
I have some projects I'm trying to finish, which you can see in front of you. I have the Two Brothers build, which still exists. I want to turn that into an SPR. It's kind of a cheaper build, so I don't really care about it right now. It was supposed to be a cost-effective and lighter version of my MR556. I don't know what I'm going to do for the optic yet. Just do a Trijicon 1-to-8 or look for a medium-powered scope, 2.5-to-10 or 4-to-16 or something like that. I have to decide what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to want to buy some Chinesium shit, so it's put me in a very precarious situation. So we'll see what happens with that. It shoots great. I don't have a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is this fucking 12.5 build. I bought it out of desperation, which was terrible. It was the pandemic panic is when I purchased it, and I got this piece of shit. Jumping Biscuits let me shoot the exact 12.5 that this is, and it is remarkably terrible. Whatever gas port they drilled in these 12.5s is ass. If you work at Aero Precision and Ballistic Advantage by extension right now, this Ballistic Advantage 12.5 barrel is an embarrassment. I don't know what fetus you have that you brought in to drill these holes, but it is a catastrophic failure. This is one of the worst gassed uppers I've ever fired in my entire life, and y'all need to figure it out, because clearly you can do better with the Hansen series. I don't know if you're just drilling these poorly to put them out. I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but that is the worst gas port I've ever used in my entire life. I've shot pre.070 Mark 18s that shot smoother than this. Absolutely hilariously terrible recoil impulse. I don't understand how you can put an H3 buffer in this with a Sprinko blue or red spring and it doesn't feel any better. I don't understand what's going on with this. I'm gonna finish building it because I can't sell it. No one's gonna want this piece of shit. But do not, under any circumstances, anyone that watches this channel, do not, under any circumstances, buy a Ballistic Advantage, just regular government profile, 12.5. Do not. Don't. This right here Do not buy this piece of shit. This is the worst thing I've ever fired. So I don't know what to tell you. Skip it. It's government profile. It should have at least some sort of gas port size that would make sense. Like call Daniel Defense or some, I don't know, figure it out. How the fuck do you not know how to drill a hole in a barrel? You're a barrel company. It's so embarrassing.
Fucking embarrassing! It's fucking embarrassing!
But I'm gonna switch the bolt carrier group out of this. I'm gonna put the land tack in there to try to fix the gassing situation with this, and I'm gonna put a muzzle brake on the end of this and just try to salvage it. It's gonna be terrible and awful and I hate it. I'm gonna be absolutely cruel to it. It's probably gonna shoot 4 MOA. I got sucked into having a beater truck gun, and I don't even know if I'm gonna give this thing any airtime, to be honest with you. I think I'm wasting your time now talking about it, with the exception of trying to warn you never to buy a fucking 12.5 Ballistic Advantage standard barrel. Their 12.3 Hansen, super smooth, beautiful. Even their 13.7 carbine length shoots smoother than this.
That's gonna be a fucking yikes from me. Holy shit.
If I worked at your company, I would be embarrassed to even say this exists. Just awful. Figure it out.
Figured it.
You figure it out.
Figured it.
You figure it out.
Figured it. Figured it.
I'm gonna get it off screen. But I'm probably gonna take the War Comp, which I've decided I'm not the biggest fan of. I'd rather just have a flash hider after shooting the Geisleys, but I'm probably gonna put the CTN on this. And this build's gonna be hilarious because I'm gonna call it the trash can build. I bought this off of Florida Man. I'm gonna run it. It's a Triarch 11.5-inch barrel with a carbine length gas system. I bought this Triarch BCG off of with this charging handle. But this I bought off my other buddy, Hazmat or Double Action. I don't remember what his YouTube handle is. This is gonna be my trash can build, which is gonna run fucking circles around this piece of shit. So I have these projects. I actually have way more than this. I'm trying to finish my CR556. Just too many things in the fire right now, and I wanna buy suppressors and a whole bunch of other stuff. I buried myself way too deep. Don't be like me. Build one project at a time, get it to completion, next project. Don't have all these projects like me. It's stupid. It's so fucking dumb. But this will be a nice build when it's done. I'm gonna spray paint it and all that other stuff, and it'll be solid. I'm interested to see what a Triarch 11.5 does, but I don't want to give that company any money, so buying the stuff used doesn't bother me. We'll see. But this is gonna be my trash can build. I know some people call it the spare parts builds or whatever, but this is a trash can build. So it's gonna have the Knights Armament rail, and it's gonna just be hilariously bad. But between this build and my almost clones that are gonna be close to clone correct, but enough to piss all the autistic cloners off, definitely gonna be some dislikes when I reveal these projects to the world. But I have these things. I have a receiver set I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna have some more competent builds and stuff coming up. And this rail looks like it's in bad shape, but it's really not. I mean, it's beat up a little bit, but you know, nothing terrible, nothing some, you know, M-LOK covers aren't gonna cover up anyway. But, and these URX rails are very sturdy. But I do have a lot of things going on. I gotta figure out a new camera solution. I don't know how the sound is better on this 7 or 8 year old camera, but the new cameras have barely any sound on board, and if they do, it's terrible because they want you to buy extra stuff. So we'll see what happens. I have a lot of things in the fire. I'm trying to get them done on this inflation budget that I have. So we'll see what happens. As always, thanks for putting up with my shit. Thank you for watching. Take care out there.